Okay, now we move into our business
Budget meeting.
budget meeting. What time is it?
At
6:52.
Okay. It's right here. Okay, good evening and welcome to this evening's special meeting of the Crestwood School District. I call this meeting to order at, what time is it? 6:52. All in favor? Okay, Ms. Janoon, please take roll.
Mrs. Berry?
Here.
Mr. Baydoun?
Here.
Ms. Elzayat?
here.
Ms. Fawaz?
Here.
Myself? Ms. Kaminsky?
Here.
Mr. Sabo stepped
Here.
out, but he is
He's
here. Okay, Madam Chair, the quorum?
Are we going to wait to do the Pledge of Allegiance at the regularly scheduled
Yeah.
meeting? Okay, moving on, Dr. Masalam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Morgan to give us our 2022-2023 budget hearing as required by state law and to update the community.
Thank you. I'm just going to stand up here. You all can see the screen. I'm going to make sure that I know how to work this. Yep. So the budget hearing, we need to look at the different funds for the district. The district contains the general fund, the grant fund, the special services fund, which contains cafeteria and childcare, and also the student activity accounts, which is the student agency fund, the debt fund, and the capital projects fund. In the budget hearing, we need to talk about our tax allocation. Non-homestead taxes are collected from municipalities to the general fund. Non-homestead property taxes include business properties, vacation properties, vacant land, and rental properties. These taxes do not include primary homes. And I gotta remember to switch the slides, so sorry. Okay. The tax rate general fund tax rate is 18 mills. And we have that millage rate until 2034. The state education tax is 6 mills. All taxpayers pay this, and it is distributed at the state level. Homeowners pay 6 mills of their taxes for education. The money is sent to Lansing and then redistributed to the school districts. The greatest portion of our revenue comes from state aid. The allocation is based on our spring count of 10% from the previous year and the fall count, which is 90%. And that makes up our per pupil allocation. For the upcoming 22-23 school year, we're proposing that our student population does not change, that it remains constant at 4,159 students. So we're not expecting any student loss or gains at this time. It's a very conservative budget in that aspect. If you look at our state aid membership for the past 20 years, you can see that the last 5 years, we've stayed stable and actually have grown so that we're at 4,100 consistently to 4,200 students per year. As we move forward for the 22-23 school year, we're predicting a $300 per pupil increase. So that would bring our per pupil allocation up to $9,000 per pupil, and that's through our state aid status.
Okay, I have a question on that. So that doesn't include any of our additional, like title, categorical or anything, correct?
This does not include any of the grant funds. This
So
is strictly
there's-
general fund, yes.
Okay. So actually it could be approximately how much per student? If
Right
we were to
now,
add-
if you add all those in, they haven't determined those, so they haven't been finalized because technically the grant budgets don't finalize until October. So when they're allocating our per pupil, we don't figure that into it. As you can see over the recent years, we're finally above where we were in 2004 because of the fact when about 2004, 2005, the state, that's when Snyder took $450 per pupil away from the districts. So you can see it's taken us a while to get back there. And now with this regiment, we've actually closer to making profits as a district. Although our needs, if you look at the studies, our needs for per pupil allocations is approximately anywhere between $12,000 and $13,000 per student to give them everything that they need in an education. So you can see we're well below that, but we're managing very well. The district revenues that we're projecting are based on several different cuts. First of all, our tax enhancement millage that was passed several years ago will be reduced this year by 25%, and that's an estimate, because the charter schools are now being given money, portions of that money. So that's projected to pass within the next couple months for charter schools to get that. And that's a per pupil allocation. And so there's 60,000 charter students that we would have to take money from the districts to fund those buildings. It also takes away the one-time only payments that we received in 21-22 for special education costs. There was one-time Act 18 special ed revenue that we received because they go back 2 to 3 years. So 19-20, they're reconciling their budgets because they're on a rolling. And so they had a fund balance, which they spread out between the districts.
So how much are we expecting to lose if we have to share it with the charters?
Our district, it's about 450,000.
So that's what we would lose?
Mm-hmm. That's 25% of our current enhancement millage.
That's a lot of money.
And again, that's a projection because that's a safe estimate and what they recommended us doing. Now, is it possible that it could end up being lower? Yes, but we won't know that for sure until it actually happens. Again, I'm projecting on the safe side because I'd rather stay out of deficit than project more funds and have to figure out how to cut later. One of the expenses that we have to budget for is MIPSPERS retirement offsets. So MIPSPERS is Michigan Public Schools Employee Retirement System. Every individual who is an employee of the school district belongs to that retirement system. Currently, that retirement rate is 41%, roughly 40. It ranges, depending on which retirement plan they're in, from 36.01% to 43.28%. So for budgeting purposes, we budget 41%, and that's every dollar 41 cents goes to the retirement services. So that's a huge part of our budget.
If I may just interject real quick, this is why you'll see sometimes teacher salary or staff salary than staff cost. That's why it's two different numbers.
So this is fully fringed?
Correct.
Exactly, yes. The other expenditures that we're basing the expenses on this year is all staff received their salary schedule step and a 1% pay schedule raise. In addition, we're keeping the retirement rate at 41%. We're very fortunate this year that we did not take an increase, so it does remain constant from last year. That has to do with a lot of the one-time bonuses the state has been pushing into their budget to offset these costs. We can see once those come out of the state budget, you'll see our retirement rate most likely go up. Because of the fact that our retirement, there's more retirees now than there are actual employees, so putting into the system. There's more people taking out of the system than there is putting in the system. And that was a big influx when the state had the big push to make everybody contracted services and not actually employees. All the building budgets were based on the 21-22 per pupil count, and the unemployment rate remained constant.
Can we go back to healthcare?
Yes, I'm sorry, I missed that one. Our healthcare costs for our hard cap went up 3.5%. So our portion as a district went up 3.5%, although employees' portion did go up as well.
So the employees are paying more?
Because legally we have a hard cap that we can't go above. And I know that I've sent the rates before, I just don't remember the new rates off the top of my head.
Can you share that with us if you get a chance?
Of course I can.
Thank you.
One more question on that topic.
Yes.
Is that, in regards to healthcare, does every district use the same, is there like a same state process, or is that at will?
Every district uses the hard cap or the 80-20 rule, but they all use different healthcare providers. So they go out to bid for healthcare providers, whether it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, HAP, and I can't think of
Okay,
the
I
other
got
ones.
it.
So
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
And so this shows you the two correspondence between the revenue, expenditures, and our fund equity. As you can see, the one on the left is actually what our current fund balance will be after 21-22 ends, what we're projecting it to be. And on the one on the right is what we'll have in fund balance at $11,373,701. And that's keeping set aside $1.8 million for renovations that we have been carrying forward that we have not used yet. So that's for Cherry Hill or possibly any other renovations that we're doing.
Question?
Thank you, you nailed that slide.
Okay.
I know we talked about that in the past.
Okay.
That's the slide.
That's the one you wanted, but there's another one in here that was much more difficult, but okay. So for 22-23, our projected fund balance from July 1st of 2022 is $13,164,224. Our anticipated revenue was $46,015,437. Our anticipated expenditures with that $1.8 million that we've set aside for building facilities use is $47,805,960. As you can see, we'll be dipping into fund balance if we use that fund by $1,790,523, bringing our total fund balance back down to $11,373,701.
If I may ask a question,
Yes, ma'am.
where will we see where our liabilities are?
When you say liabilities.
What we owe out,
Expenditures.
expenditures, where we're,
So if you go back, if you want to go back a couple slides.
So the 47 million,
The middle of that graph is the expenditures.
I think Nadia means the breakdown.
no, I want, yeah.
well,
Just
let me
to
keep
see-
going.
Go
Yep.
ahead.
It's here.
Go ahead.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, go ahead.
The budgeted ended fund balance, is that June 30th of 2022 or
No,
2023?
It's 2023.
Okay, I wanted to make
Because this is the
sure.
2023 budget, 22-23 budget.
We're all-
Okay?
Again,
So when you look at here, the overall expenditures, and I don't have the slide, but in the board packet and what you're adopting under the resolution, there's a sheet that lists by function the total amount of expenditures per function. And so these percentages of overall budget included for our expenditures. So as you can see, basic programs, which are elementary, preschool, are 53% of our budget. Then you look at the added needs, which is the 1-2s, and that's special education, EL services, and any other compensatory education services. That's at 8.72%. You can also see that our operations, which is 2/6, are at 8.15%. Those are the three highest areas that we pay out within the district. And if we look at it this way, we just did it the same information in a different slide in a bar graph across so
That's-
that you can see.
That's my favorite slide.
I'm a pie chart person. I like that one better. And then this is for Mr. Baydoun. So, where I got the percentages that way.
That's the perfect slide,
So-
right there. And I think that's what Nadia was looking for, where she sees the breakdown of percentage for everything.
I think she was looking for further breakdown.
Thank you.
And the further
I'm
breakdown,
looking for the liabilities that we owe out, is everything included in here?
the expenditures that we owe out in general fund is all included in that
It has to
47
be.
million, yes.
This is what our auditors audit us on. So what you're seeing is exactly what the auditors review.
Your line items breakdown that you're looking for, I think she would need to email it to you because it'd probably be,
It's actually,
packet.
it's actually the breakdown by function. Dollar amount is in the board packet as attachment in the resolution as well. So as you look at our fund balance, you can see from the majority of our school district lifetime, we were sitting right around $6 million. And then in the past 3 years, we've jumped that up and doubled it to $13 million. So you can see that that's about approximately 28% of our fund balance, which if you look at a lot of districts, it's well above the majority of the districts with around us. Again, this is just a different way to look at our fund balance. The one in the yellow is the 21-22 fund balance. The red is what we would drop to if we use that $1.8 million for facility repair. And then in the white, if we do not use anything for facility repair, it would go back up to $13 million. So now that we go into the funded programs, the majority of our funded programs are federal funds. The state of Michigan and the federal funds run October 1st through September 30th each year. So as of right now, we do not know our Title I allocation, our Title II allocation, or the majority of our grant allocations. We typically, what we do is base the future budget off the previous year budget, because a lot of that rolls over. So in order to have a budget in place, we just carry it forward. And then it gets amended once we know all of the allocations in October. Currently, our budget for the grant funds is $20,680,198, and this does include the ESSER funds, all 3 sets of them, Title I, 31A, GSRP, IDEA, and any other letters, alphabets that you want to find. Pretty much, yes. The funded programs, you can see that $6,900 are local. The state sources, that includes our 31A, and there's a couple other smaller state grants that get added to it, so that's $3,203,287. Our federal sources, which include Title I, ESSER, and IDEA, is $17,268,000. And our county grants, which include, it's a reading initiative grant, which is $112,900. And when it says fund modifications, those are revenues that come in from other funds just in case we're offsetting. Expenditures, so we've increased our expenditures in instruction due to the influx of grants. So that's up to $8,717,093, and that includes all of the 111s and 112s and so forth, and also the 122s, which is special ed, and I'm saying these numbers like you know what they mean, and I'm so sorry. So instruction is elementary education and secondary education, and then special ed services. Support services equal all of our counselors, social workers, psychologists, administration, and all of those things. Community service, those are anything that does with parent involvement through the grants. And then building improvements, because of the ESSER money, that we have the $7 million set aside in ESSER for building improvements. And transfers out is indirect costs that we charge to the programs.
Can you go back over the community services? Mm-hmm. You said that's parent involvement?
It's a big part of parent involvement.
This is what we're spending next year.
That's what, with community liaisons, community, yes, the community engagement organizers are in this category as well.
Okay.
I forgot the name of them, sorry. When we look into the special services fund, we roll this over too. So we have the local, state, and federal sources. The majority of this is cafeteria, and actually it's all cafeteria and childcare. The big reason that we have federal sources is because food service and cafeteria are the majority of its federal dollars.
Penny, does the food assistant cards for the children in the district because of COVID, does that fall under this budget or state budget?
No, it falls under this budget.
This budget.
Anything dealing with the cafeteria fund falls under this budget.
Do you know which ones I'm talking about?
I know what you're
The
talking
white
about.
cards that were mailed out?
Those have nothing to do with us because they're
yeah.
not to us directly. Those are
That's
to
state.
parents and that comes from the state of Michigan.
Yeah, it
Right,
doesn't
so that's
come from-
not included in this?
No, because it has nothing, the district never gets those funds to
Got
push
it.
out. It's
Got it.
directly from the state.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome. Special services funds continued. We do have to have a budget. It's one of the laws that changed for the activity funds. So because we never know how much goes in and out, and it really is just revenue in and out, we budget for $1 million. So that all of the activity funds fall under that. Capital projects, which is the bond fund, which is the remaining from the 2016 bond and also the Train Energy bond. Projected to have $3 million left over, but again, this number is not final because we've not finalized this year yet. So this number, once the year gets through, it will change, but in order to start the year, we needed a budget, so we rolled it forward. But again, that number will change once June 30th comes.
So will we get the updated change?
We will make a budget amendment when that happens, yes. It won't be until after the audit season because we have to verify that the numbers are correct. So. Also, in addition, with the bond fund, we will be having Taylor Morgan, our auditors, do a separate bond audit because that's required by the state as well, and the government as well. When you have a bond, once the bond is completed or 95% complete, you have to have an individual audit for the bond fund. So that will be coming up this year, within the next 6 to 10 months. The debt fund. So the debt fund includes all the payments for all the payments for our borrowing, but the majority of the revenue comes from the 2016 bond. So all of those debt the taxes from that, and then we make the payments going out for those. So in the 22-23 school year, our debt payments will be $2,365,208. And that will include the bond funds, the 2011 borrowing that we had, and also the Train Energy. Are there any questions? I know that was longer than 9 minutes, so I apologize, but
Nice job. Great job.
Any questions from the board? Okay, moving on.
Thank you for.
Okay, moving on, if we can close out of this, can I have a motion to move out of this?
Madam Chair, I motion we close out of this session.
We have a motion from Mr. Baidoon, supported by Ms. Elzayat. Any opposed? Ms. Janoon, please take roll.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Baidoon?
Yes.
Ms. Elzayat?
Yes.
Ms. Fawaz?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Kaminsky?
She stepped out.
Yes. And then Mr.
right.
Saba?
Okay, what time is it?
7:15.
7:15. Can we take a 5-minute break and come right back and start the regularly
Yep, sure.
scheduled meeting? Okay, thank you.